Hey, beautiful shining star. I like the idea. So Rachel sent me a question in the class. She said for the life book, when we write our goals or intentions, and she put like her examples. Does it have to be in order? Like if I want to be, married within 5 years, can I add photos of where and how, but necessarily have it labeled, the year she wants to be married? So this is what I do. So there's no wrong. Okay, so the whole point of the life book is that you are adding your intentions and desires. It doesn't have to be in order unless it means something to you. Because remember, we're the ones that give it energy. The more energy we give our life book, the more it is going to work for you. As we continue on this course, you are going to learn how to be in a synchronized connection with your desires and intentions. Example, as I'm doing this work, I was aligned with the 100-day challenge. So as I'm doing this today, I'm on day 3. And what it is that I do 100 things towards my goal that I want to manifest within the 100-day time frame. So, what's going to happen through this life book class is that you are going to be aligned with things that are going to work for you to manifest what it is you're trying to co-create. So you have to be just paying attention, but in a more serene way. So how synchronized energy works is that you need to get out of, like, you can't over exasperate. And I know it's hard, it's not like judgmental because we all go through it. For example, I've had a really rough time this especially this week, and for months now. I've gone from one roller coaster just escalating to the next, but it's part of life. Our life is going to give us experiences. Some of them are great and some of them are horrible, but the point is how we react to them, how we learn from them, and how we expand from them. So if I, for example, what happened with my husband this past week, if I would have like broke down, and don't get me wrong, I cried. I went to the chapel and I was there for like an hour just sobbing and just connecting with God. And we're allowed to go through our emotional, but it's also like going into a place of serenity and like understanding of the things that have to happen. Sometimes these things have to happen. And like I said in my email, if you guys read it, he put himself in the situation because he was super stressed with the whole thing with his mom, and then he's having situations at work. So life is going to give us like situations for us to make the changes. Like we always get epiphanies, we always get synchronicities of the changes that we have to make. We don't like changes. Humans do not like change. Humans want the same partner forever, the same, unless, well, not all humans, but anyways, humans don't like change. They want the same job, they want the same house, like, they get really comfortable. So when we're that type of human that we don't want change and we're wanting this, like example, a year and a half ago, I had a client who's had a really, really good job, super, super good job. She literally made 3 times what her husband made, right? But she's like, Daisy, I really want to do my own business. I love what you do, and I would love to do something similar to what you do. So we kind of like created a plan. But every time we went to the point of execution, of like getting it done, of doing it, of like, let's do this, she would stall. And she's like, she would like make excuses of how she couldn't do this because, she had to pay for the kids' school. And we tend to make all these excuses in our lives of reasons why this cannot happen. Sometimes we use our children, sometimes we use our spouses, sometimes we use our parents, sometimes we use our health. So, it's about us adjusting to the experiences that we go through, learning from them, but always moving forward. So when you create your life book, it doesn't have to be in order. Your life is not really in order, right? We're like everywhere. Yeah, remember, time doesn't exist. The calendars and the numbers and all of that was created by man. In divine energy, time does not exist. There's no time, there's no calendars. If you even read in the Bible, I think it's super funny how people go to church on Sunday because they say that Sunday is a day of rest, but actually it's Saturday. Saturday is the 7th day of the week. Is like the Sabbath, I think they call it. And that is a day that you do not do anything. Like, it's a day that you rest. But if you look at how humans use Saturdays. Saturday, what is Saturday? A party day. Saturday is a day that you're out and about and partying and going on dates and, doing extracurricular activities. It's not really a day of rest. People made Sunday the day of rest, the day of going to church. But Sunday is actually the first day of the week. We changed it around and saw Monday as the first day of the week. A lot of people don't like Mondays because what is it? Monday's the day they go back to work. So you see how things are like, don't make sense. So try to make sense out of things. Don't do it, because you're just gonna make yourself crazy. There is no wrong in manifesting when you're working on your stuff. So for example, this book that I just got for my 100-day challenge, I wrote towards the end a little note, like a little write a passage, you could say, like, on this time, this is what I want, right, to see. But what if it comes sooner, or what if that is the the middle, but I start writing and it's actually the end. So I'm not, if you like start to kind of like because I feel like mostly it's our mental, like, the ADHD or OCD. I have dyslexia, so it's like our mental capacities, our human mental capacities always try to organize things. They want to, there's a word for that, I can't say it. Oh my god. Well, whatever. They want to put everything in a box. That's what our human mind does. Our human mind wants to like put this in a box, put that in a box, because humans live in a box. They can't think out of the box. Everything freaks them out. If you go into the next workbook where I get into talking about like the aliens and the whole thing of belief and faith, you understand more of what I'm talking about. So my point in answering beautiful Rachel's question is, don't second guess yourself. If you are, per se, you're writing about 2028, right? Or 25. And then all of a sudden, you're in this page, which is behind 2025, 26, 27, and you want to write about 2023 or 2024. It's okay. It's absolutely fine. So what I do is I like to write, and I don't have it on this one because this is absolutely new, but I will take a little post-it and I'll write little notes like, this is this. And I have another journal which I used to use for my life book before I even started doing this whole life book thing, that it had like post-its, because I would revisit this exactly like how I wanted it. Business, my home, family. I would just organize all the things, right? Family in the home, family vacationing, a vacationing with husband, like just like little things that I wanted to co-create. And I had it more, and it also wasn't in order, because I think the first thing that I added were, of course, like my vacation, because I feel like that's all I'm thinking about always, just spending time with my family, especially now. The further I get, the more experience I get, the more time I want to spend with my family. Anywho, just allow. I think is my main point is, don't like overthink it, just completely allow. Like, here I have a little post-it, and because it was like my ideas, this is like all as I was co-creating with Spirit that day. It is the promise we make to ourselves and the belief, the unwavering faith behind that promise. I love this. I promise that I am placing myself first, not feeling guilty because I am doing for me. And let's like, those are like little things, because a main thing, like, I don't know if you saw already the video where I talked about how Spirit kind of like, how they took care of me because they knew that this was going to happen. So in one of the videos I said, hey, because I did have a course that it was like 21 days, and I was like, oh my god, I have to do it. And if I miss one day, like, somebody will be like, hey, you missed one day. And I was like, freaking out because something happened. I have to, life happens. These courses are live. I'm doing them as I go. So if I miss one day, I'm human. So, right. So this time Spirit's like, Daisy, if you're going to miss a day, this is not like a every single day type course. It's more of a, but the problem was, like, in one of the classes, before everything happened with my husband, I had posted, because I like to prepare. I'll prepare 3, 4, 5 days in ahead, and then I'll just kind of like fill in the videos and stuff like that. So I prepared the quantum because that is so good, like that quantum ritual, which I had to record a couple times. It's really good. So I had prepared that, and then everything happened, and I couldn't, because I edit the videos, and you'll notice I do like little edits and little snips into the videos, and life happens, and I couldn't do it. But I love how Spirit was like, you're not gonna feel guilty over this, okay? Because you have to honor yourself, you have to take care of yourself. And I'm telling you to tell you this because just like I work, you guys work too. You guys have clients, or you have bosses, or you have customers, or whatever it is that you do that are going to hold you accountable for this or that or the other, so you have to see yourself in a place of that you don't owe anyone anything. You do not owe anyone anything. And the moment that we start living our lives with the acknowledgement that I need to put myself first, I need to love myself first, that I need to, if I want to help someone, it's because I want to help them, not because it's my responsibility. And like that has been, and you hear it here, is my promise that we make to ourselves, and the belief of the unwavering faith behind that promise. I promise that I'm placing myself first, not feeling guilty because I am doing for me. Example, I'm working on my own wealth journey, seeing so many ideas, inspiration to lead my dream life, and I have no room for less than energy, because that's something that I would always do. I always, and I would do this, like Sarah said, her guilt was her little sister, that her mom was always telling her, oh, you have to share with your sister, you have to share with your sister. So she took that into her adulthood, into her, when she was building her wealth, that she always had that fear that if she made a lot of money, she would have to share it with other people. And again, I'm responsible for me, and only for me. If I decide that I want to help someone, it's because I want to, not because I owe them anything. It's not because I'm responsible for them. And that is such a breakthrough. And a lot of you, maybe you won't notice it. If you feel selfish because of that saying, that's something you have to work on. Where does that energy of feeling selfish come from? Like, who told you that you're selfish? And don't get me wrong, there's actually people that are selfish, but it's very different. It's saying it's different when we're coming from a place of love, of like, I'm giving, 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 giving. What about me? You don't know how hard it is for me to balance between my clients. My clients become very needy, very attached, and me, look at me, read me, take care of me. So where, I have to find that balance all the time. And I'm working all the time with 10, 15, 20 clients at the same time. So if I didn't do this for myself, if I didn't take care of myself, if I didn't place me first, I wouldn't be manifesting anything, because I wouldn't have time. It would just be catering to my clients. So for that, I just get a 9 to 5, right? Because I'm what I'm saying, I'm doing more work, less work at 9 to 5, 9 to 5 work, 9 to 5, and I go home, I'm done, right? So, and like I said, like I had a client that's what she wanted. She wanted a 9 to 5 that she went to work and she didn't want to like deal with anything afterwards, because she loved crafting. So we co-created that, and it was super awesome. And her 9 to 5 only made her $50,000 a year. It wasn't like she was banking, but she also had her side gig of crafting, and her crafting sometimes would make her another $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, depending on how much time and effort she put into it. And she felt really good, because she's like, Daisy, I don't deal with nobody, because my clients buy my stuff. Yeah, you're gonna have one person in a blue moon that might not be happy, and I'm just like, here's a refund, keep it, I don't care. Like she became such a, like, I'm happy, and at work it was like, I'm doing the work. If she had an issue with someone, she would call the manager and she would leave them. And she's like, I feel so free. And somewhere where I saw this was, I don't know if you guys remember the movie American Beauty, where Kevin Spacey, I know everybody hates him now because apparently he's like a pedophile or something. But in American Beauty, he was like a corporate guru, like worked his ass off, had all of this, what is it called? Responsibility. I mean, he almost had, even in the movie, because I didn't even know he was gay. Even in the movie, he pretty much almost had a sex with his daughter's best friend, and she was a little girl, and he freaked out. Like, he was like, oh shit, what am I doing? But long story short, like he gave everything up. He's like, no, he started exercising, he started smoking pot, he started relaxing. And he went to work for like McDonald's or something. He's like, I don't care. And he bought himself like a sports car. And it's, don't get me wrong, I definitely don't like that lifestyle. But the point is, kind of like, you want, everything is about going with the flow. From working in your life book to your own life. If you are overwhelmed, if you are always battling, I can't do this, I'm battling, it becomes too much. It becomes too much. Like that day that that I had my moment, because everybody was calling me. I had my mom calling, my brother's calling me, my husband's friends calling, everybody was calling me, how's your husband? And I just needed that moment for me. So in one of those calls that I can't talk, because you get to that state that you're just crying and going through it, and all I could say is, I'm overwhelmed. That is the only thing that would come out of my mouth. It's just, I can't, I'm overwhelmed. So it took me into going through that state and unraveling and releasing and letting go, and then going back to, okay, let's make a joke out of this, let's talk smack, let's, because we go through stages and emotions. So I'm not saying you can't go through stuff. You have to. Today I heard a psychic, and she had this guy on, because she does like live stuff. She works with Forbidden Knowledge, which I love them. And she had this guy who had lost, I don't know who, he lost someone. He had lost a family member. I think it might have been really sad. I think he might have lost like his son or something. Or is that, I don't know. It was like a father-son type thing. I don't know if he lost a son or he lost a dad. It was something, because I was kind of working and listening to it. But the thing that captured me was that he would go to psychics, and the psychics would tell him that this person, this loved one, would not show up because he was always crying. And and I'm like, why would they tell him that? Like, what? Like, what dead people are you talking about? It's like, I can't with people sometimes. And the psychic told him the same thing. She's like, who's telling you this? No, you're allowed to go through your emotional roller coaster. You're allowed to grieve. You're allowed to break down. Please do so. You have to grieve. You have to release all of that. So when we're going through these grieving processes, no matter if it's death or a good friend, I will never forget, I had this best friend, and me and her were like peas and carrots, Forrest Gump. Her husband left her. We were together forever. Like, I was, I think 17 or 18. Our kids are like a year apart. Like, we were always together. And we went through like so much. And she got a divorce, and she found this new guy. For some reason, that guy just didn't like me. And I think he didn't like that we were so close, because he was so controlling and jealous. So he hated that we used to go have coffee and just hang out and talk smack. So he didn't like that. So I remember one of the last times that we hung out, we were sitting at Starbucks and we were talking, and he literally, I mean, we were there for like 45 minutes, because that was our thing, just talk. She would smoke her cigarette and drink her Coca-Cola, and I would drink my coffee, and we would just talk and laugh, and it was really nice. And I remember he called like 5 times, and at the last I was like, girl, you gotta go. I go, it's really sad, but our relationship is over, and no, it wasn't even that. I just said it's really sad because I know that our relationship is over. Like, you're my best friend, and I love you like a sister, and you call me anytime and I'm there, but I understand if you can't connect with me, because I get it. Like, I get it. Her man comes first. So I remember one of the last times was that I readjusted my daughter's birthday for her, because her daughter and my daughter, we grew up together. And she, not only did she not show up after she told me I can't come this weekend, and I was like, don't worry, I'll change the weekend, because hello. So I changed the weekend, and she calls me. I was in the car crying because I was so sad, because my daughter was sad that her best friend didn't show up. So I was in the car crying because my daughter was so sad. And one thing that hurts me as a mom is always the kids. And she calls me, she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And her excuse was that she had to go back to school shopping. And I said to her, I love you. I send you love. I send you blessings. Maybe, and I told her straight out, I'm hard. I'm hardcore. I said, maybe when I die, you come to my funeral, or if you go first, I'll go to your funeral. And that's that. And she's like, oh my God, don't say that. And I said, I'm not gonna try anymore. And I understand. I told her, look, I'm sad. I told her I'm very sad because you're my sister. But I understand, you know. And that was it. I never shed a tear for her. I never called her. I never even thought about her. Every once in a while, she's on my Facebook and I'll send her a like. She sends me a like. And that's it. And that's how life is. Life is going to give us friends and the best of friends and relationships and circumstances and situations, you know. And then sometimes those things come to a close. That's why they always, like, the most wealthiest people always tell you, you can't focus on one business. You have to have multiple businesses, because businesses, they trend. They'll be up here right now, and then it'll last a year, 2 year, 5 years, and then collapse. I don't have to tell you. Look at businesses have been, you know, that you've heard. You guys even remember Woolworths? No. And those were businesses that were out for a long time and they closed. Sears, J.C. Penney. There's still J.C. Penney's here and there. Zayres. You guys don't even remember Zayres or Zayres. Kmart. I mean, so I feel like everything in life has a season, and our lives are full of different seasons and chapters. So think about it, because I feel like I see it more now because I see so much death and loss, especially with clients and in my own life. Like since COVID, I'm seeing so much change, so much craziness. So I'm sharing this with you because I don't want you to overthink everything. I want you to go with the flow. From working on your life book to working in your own life, just go with the flow. Because you don't know what is and what isn't, you know. And the more I feel like we focus and dread and not enjoy our lives because of this person or that situation, it's not worth it. That's why I loved Miley Cyrus's song Flowers, because it's like, if your man ain't buying you flowers, then go buy yourself your flowers. If he's not going to take you on a date, then you take yourself on a date. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you only need you. And everything is building. And again, I shared this in another video. The more you love yourself, the more you take care of yourself, the more you build yourself, the stronger you are. You become that reflection, because we are mirrors. We reflect who we are. We manifest who we are. You want to be wealthy? Act wealthy. As a perfect example. So today I'm in my kitchen, and I got big changes in my house. And I grabbed the glove, those little gloves that you take the stuff out of the oven, and it was full of stuff. And I was like, this is not wealthy, you know. And I grabbed it and I threw it away, you know. And it's not because it costs anything, because you could buy those at Dollar Tree, like, it's not a big deal. The point is that everything is an energy, and if you see something that doesn't represent wealth for you, you need to get rid of it. If you're in a relationship and there's no give and take, you know, you have to script to change the relationship. And if you keep scripting and you keep working and it's just a one-way street, then it's not working. But then you notice, like I have a client who, she's always working in her relationship and it's not perfect. Oh, no relationship is perfect. Perfection does not exist, my friends. And she's like, you know, she'll tell me this happened, and then like a day or two later, she's like, but this happened, and he did this, and it's so beautiful, because you could see her work, you could see her manifestations, you could see everything she puts into that relationship. And yeah, so unfortunately, he's like stubborn, because some guys are, I mean, most guys are, but the point is that you could see that, you know. Like, example, my husband, now that he's gone through all this, he's more like attentive and understanding. And we went through a kind of like chapter that it was, I'm so glad Venus stopped retrograding. That's all I gotta tell you. Venus went direct on the 4th. And, you know, and one of the things that was happening was a lot of relationships were going through turmoil. And you think like, oh my God, turmoil. But I feel like these things happen not to beat us up or punish us, the way everybody else thinks I'm being punished. It's karmic disbalance. No, it's so we could see and witness and make the changes that we need to make in order to honor ourselves. Because when I had certain issues in my relationship with my husband, what I would notice is like, okay, what part of me am I not honoring that he's dishonoring? Like, why is he dishonoring this? What am I doing? So then I start to put myself first and I start to make these changes, and I'll tell him because I'm a diva, and he comes to the moments he's like, oh shit, you're right, just like he'll tell me like, hey, you're being a bitch, like what's going the fuck on? And I'll be like, and I'll look, because I'm the type of person that I like the truth to be told to me by my loved ones, and I'll look at him like, holy shit, you're right, what the fuck was wrong with me? So the point is also accepting your truth. When somebody's telling you that you're a little too much of this, then why are you too much of this? Because sometimes is our fears. A lot of the time, like, the reason I'm not jealous, and don't get me wrong, one thing is jealousy and one thing is seeing stuff that's not right, and but the reason I'm not a jealous person is because my mom was jealous of everybody with my dad, and to me that was like so possessive. But yet when women would do stuff in front of my mom to my dad, she wouldn't react. I literally one time grabbed a girl by her hair and took her out of the house, and my mom was crying in the room. Fuck the crying in the room. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and I'm sorry that I'm getting so real with you, but the point is, speak your truth. You gotta also be assertive, loving. You gotta be a goddess, but allow that diva to come out if it has to. It's just you honoring yourself, respecting yourself. Not letting anybody. But one thing is jealousy, because my mom was like overbearing. She was jealous of everybody. My dad was like Fabio. He wasn't. But I mean, I guess because he's my dad. Anywho, the point is that when you live that type of life where you're looking at every corner because you're so paranoid about this and that or the other, you end up pushing them to do those things. And I would tell my mom that all the time. You push him to do those things. Like, don't get me wrong, I get it. Some women are just bitches. But balance. There has to be balance. If something's going on, you put him and you put her in the place, or vice versa. But if it's not, don't put stuff where there ain't none. Don't put situations where there's no situation. It just, you can't. But there has to be a balance. I mean, I have, when my clients come to me, one of the great things is they know, like, if I see, and sometimes Spirit doesn't share. I've had cheating people and Spirit won't show me. But I remember one time, one of my clients, she's been with me for 13 years, and she calls me with a guy, and the guy was so nervous because he hung up at the end, because he's like, oh shit, this one is real deal. Because I was like, I'm seeing this and that and the other, and she's like, tell him, Daisy, tell him what you see. And I was like, and I see children. And he freaked out because he had not told her that not only was he in another relationship with someone else, but he had children with that someone else. So it got very real. So he's like, they ended it like right after that, because she's like, you lied to me. So he had to tell her the truth. So I get to the point that I'm able, I have clients that, I've worked with them for so long that, when they have a situation because their spouses are cheating or something crazy, and Spirit like shows me, and I was like, I know that this is happening, like, you could confront them about this. But sometimes it's just in our mind, like, we worry so much because of stuff that we probably saw in our childhood or past relationships. And I know I'm bringing the whole deception in strongly, but this is everything. Deception is in everything. Think about your deception in your finances. How many times I've been around people all the time that tell me that they don't have money. I don't have money. And I'm paying for the coffees, and I'm taking them out, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and I don't have money. And then the moment that I don't have money, they're gone. And I never forget the one year that me and my best friend, we were going through some stuff. And we were going to, it was like a special farmers market where everything was like $1 stuff, and it would give you a bunch of stuff away because those farms were like multi-million-dollar farms. So instead of paying taxes, they would just give people the food. And I'll never forget when her friend showed up in a badass Hummer. Miss, I don't have money. And we were like, how do you show up in a Hummer to claim free food? You know, it's deception. But it made her happy. So, you know, she likes to claim the I don't have money card. Good for her. Kudos for her. But the point is, stay in your truth. If you don't want to tell anybody that you have money, that you have money, you don't have to tell them. But lying is the worst thing you could do. Lying will sabotage your entire reality. Your entire reality. That is like horrible. So in order not to lie, you stay away from people that you have to lie to. You know, which is hard because I feel like we all have our moments that we kind of, so I know I'm everywhere here. I started with answering Rachel's question and I went into a 30-minute video. And I will put this in tomorrow's thing. I hope you got a lot of insights. Thank you. Namaste.